Welcome to episode 654 of the Aussie Tech Heads, recorded on the 24th of October 2019. Aussie Tech Heads is brought to you by startnewcompany.com.au. Register your company fast, easy and direct with ASIC, all documents provided and held in your account for downloading at any time. If you're an accountant or other professional, you're also able to brand all documents with your own company name. Coming soon, ABN, TFN and trusts. A special discount code for ATH listeners. At the cart, use ATH20 for a $20 discount. And athwebhosting.com.au. Servers operate on SSD drives, immediate activation, SSL certificates, Aussie support, domain registration, easy install of WordPress, Joomla and Drupal. And we have back again Australia's two top podcasters. We're going to start this week with Mr. T. How are you doing there, Mr. T?
How do sir?
And I'm Jason Oakley, by the way. Usually I do it the other way around. Why not something different for a change?
Says you.
How are things going for you up there in God Zone?
Bloody hot.
Buddy hot? We're going for 31 on Saturday. You probably beat that.
It's still like 30 degrees at the moment.
This is like nearly 11 o'clock at night for me, or 10 for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still like 30 degrees. It's absolutely stupid. And last night was 6 degrees.
You're going to have a great summer, right?
No, it's just all over, so it's ridiculous.
Just don't get your basement flooded and wreck your computer equipment again.
That's a different house.
Yeah. That might help.
Not that I have any more luck with electronic devices here. This laptop's all but dead. My PC still doesn't work. I can't get Sonya's PC working, and the inverter that we run, I run most of my stuff off-grid with an off-grid solar system. My inverter died the other day and I can't get it for a while. So,
have you tried calling tech support? Hello? Have you tried turning it on and off again?
I've been more busy. I've been on 3 weeks holidays. I've been doing more work in this 3 weeks than I think I've done since Christmas.
Jeez, dude. Did you get your 3D printer going?
Define going.
Better than any of those other things we just talked about.
I mean, it
does stuff.
I printed a thing.
Hey!
The problem is the other half of the thing didn't stay attached to this half of the thing.
Ah, good.
So that's thingless.
Oh, I mostly got mine for my daughter was doing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and she was buying all these little trees and shrubs and rocks and things from eBay at like $1.20 each. Buy like 40 of them, and I thought, well, if I can print them all, I might save time and money. And now she doesn't do that anymore, so it's just sitting out the back.
I've still got purpose to use mine. Like I've started making these fittings which screw onto a galvanized pipe. I'm going to make a CNC out of this sort of framing.
Right.
These are all the couplings and connectors and stuff that hold it together. So, it's a work in progress.
Awesome.
I can make it work. More work and more progress. I need both, not just one or the other.
You need more holiday to work in.
Yeah, I need another 12 or 14 years holiday, and then I'm
okay.
I'm going to go back to work to have a break.
Yes, that's it.
You're working so
hard. You're crazy, man, crazy.
And the heat's been horrid, so it hasn't done any favours. And plus this week, it's Bum's birthday on Sunday, it's 10 to 4, so...
Ah, happy birthday.
Trying to get all that stuff happening, and yeah. 'Tis fun.
There's no time left.
No, it's no.
No.
Time, what is time? Time is irrelevant.
That's right. Should we do a couple of stories then to get this ball rolling?
Yeah, alright.
How about Netflix going to do a password crackdown? Netflix has promised to crack down on users who share their passwords with friends or family members. It means that if you borrow someone's login, you may have to start paying for your own account in full instead. Sorry, Dad. Can't do nothing about it. Netflix already offers some account sharing features designed to let people in a single household use one login. But Netflix worried that some users sharing their logins among different households with distant pals or even strangers. Quelle surprise! Surely that wouldn't happen.
Not with strangers, no.
No. Speaking at Netflix's Q3 2019 earnings last week, Netflix product chief Greg Peters said the firm wanted to address password sharing without alienating a certain portion of the user base. We continue to monitor it, so we're looking at the situation, he said. We'll see these consumer-friendly ways to push on the edges of that. But experts said we're already seeing some early signs of crackdown. They're policing this already by blocking a third concurrent screen if two screens are in use at the same time. That doesn't help if the users are in different time zones, as many households with kids in college are. However, it definitely cracks down on widespread password sharing. He added they also have a way to track device usage and can require two-factor authentication, although they haven't rolled that out yet. The news follows a major announcement by tech firm Sina Media about a new AI system that cracks down on account sharing. It uses machine learning technology to track shared passwords on streaming services, and this technology could then be used to force users to upgrade to a premium service or even shut down their account. So, with all the current tons of streaming services coming out of the woodwork all over the place, like Americans got half a dozen, we've got like 4 or 5 here. The UK's got theirs, plus the BBC streaming service and Disney streaming service and what have you.
Yeah, Foxtel.
So yeah, shoot yourself in the foot, Netflix. It's a great idea.
Yeah. Who cares who's watching it as long as the account's being paid? That's the whole point of having a multi-user account.
But we want 2 people to pay for accounts instead of just one.
Don't have a multi-user account if multiple users can't use the account. It's not the purpose.
It's bloody ridiculous, mate.
I mean, Foxtel, to watch, they make it a little bit difficult, but they send they do a bit of authenticating to make sure it's you, something like they send a message to your phone or something, but they don't go overboard with it, you know. So you can watch, I think you can watch 3 separate instances, either a combination of the actual Foxtel box plus 2 instances or 3 online, something like that.
Yep.
Concurrently, which I mean, then you can buy a per user, like an extra $10 a month or something, let you add users to that. So
yeah, why not do that? Netflix charge an extra $5 a month if you want to have more people.
Instead of burning off the customers you've got, just yeah, no worry,
lose your history, which is very important because they want to be able to recommend other shows to you and all that sort of stuff, right? If you boot them off, then they have to buy a new account and then start a new history, and then they get all the crap that they don't want again and have to vote this up and vote that down. And
I'm not even sure if it's that really. It's the fact, as I said, if they're doing this and the kid's going to college and the college has 14 internet connections, and they come back to their dorm overnight and hook up to one of the Wi-Fi's and it's changed an IP address, well, pick them off because they're not authorised. Yeah.
Well, they said they might shut down the account. That was the one I was worried about.
Yeah, but it's not like, they didn't really put a lot of thought in it. It's just like, well, hang on. What happens when you watch it from your mobile phone and your IP address changes all the time?
Yeah.
As you change, towers and whatever.
Or if you're watching it on your Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi drops out and it switches over to your cell carrier.
Yeah. Yeah.
These simple things that can happen.
Yeah, exactly. But they and they always don't think about it. They just think everybody's trying to screw them over, which, okay, most people are, but having said that, you kind of deserve it doing stuff like this. So, no sympathy.
No. What's tickling your fancy this week?
I don't know, I've got to go to the doctor and find out what it's called. Well, as we know, Galaxy Quest, the best Star Trek movie that was never a Star Trek movie, and is continually voted one of the best Star Trek movies because people don't realise it wasn't a Star Trek movie. It's its 20th anniversary, this week. So
Save us!
yeah, 99. That's going to come out. So
Tony Shalhoub, he's a great actor.
to sort of celebrate the 20th anniversary, there's been a 20th anniversary Galaxy Quest exclusive Blu-ray Steelbook edition that's got a whole of extra features behind the scenes. Plus, Screen Junkies has just released a fan movie, I guess you'd call it.
Oh, sweet.
It's called Never Surrender, a Galaxy Quest documentary.
Yep.
It's from Fandom and Screen Junkie. Screen Junkie does, if you ever watch YouTube, Screen Junkie do a lot of the voiceovers and that sort of stuff for they actually do some pretty cool stuff. They've made a I guess that's hard to explain. It's kind of a documentary, and they've got a hold of a lot of the original cast, and they've sat down and talked about them and relived memories and found out a lot of facts that were never released and a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And they get Brent Spiner and Will Wheaton and a few other people interviewing them as well, saying, would you ever like to be on is it something you'd ever do? And if they're talking about sequels, so it's that's something to look forward to. I think it's actually out end of this month sometime, not 100% sure, but it comes out.
You know what I'm going to have to watch this weekend now, don't you?
Yeah, I watched it last night. But the documentary trailer shows every major cast member except for Alan Rickman, obviously.
Yep.
And Alexander Dane, who plays Alexander Dane is his character. Alan Rickman, for obvious reasons, who plays Alexander Dane. If my word, but man, I'm not and so yeah, so there's no doubt there'll be some sort of tribute in there for him. Obviously, although not, but it's got pretty much all the original cast. Yeah, it's got some cameos, some guest stars, and you can imagine. I mean, you know what like Brent Spiner's like. I can imagine he's going to be doing some sort of Picard impersonation. I can you never watched Brent Spiner outside of Data, which is his most well-known character, but he's got a really good YouTube channel. It's quite hilarious, some of the stuff he gets up to on there.
Check it out.
But yeah, it's the 20th anniversary of Galaxy Quest. So I can't believe it. I saw that at cinema. That's just
What was that, Sonny?
There's some stuff in there like they're talking to some of the guys, and they ask questions like there's rumours that originally it was supposed to be an R-rated movie, and and they're like, yeah, we ended up a lot of the scenes they did 2 takes. There's a family-friendly take and an R-rated ad-lib sort of take, and so there's potentially enough footage that they could actually release an R-rated version of it.
Oh, nice. Well, that's all arranged now with Deadpool and all that.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean,
and I think the new Joker is R-rated too or something, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. But the R rating now is different to R rating 20 years ago.
Yeah. Way
the
different.
side is rotated to the point where they're completely different,
We just don't give a shit anymore.
I remember, what was it? Wizard of Oz or something was rated adults only or something in this country because it showed when the house landed on the witch or something, it showed her undergarment above a sock or something, so it got an AO rating.
Sounds like Mr. Burns. She could do more to me with just a glimpse of one ankle than the whole entire naked person.
Have you seen the RIPD?
No, what's that?
Hey?
What's that?
Rest in Peace Department.
I think you've mentioned it before.
Yeah, it's got what's his name? Deadpool. It's got him in it and a couple other characters in it, but he's got the same thing. He's an ankle. He's an ankle. It's so funny.
Reynolds, Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, I think.
He had to be like with the alliteration in his Ryan Reynolds, and it's a Marvel character, and they're like Peter Parker and Ryan Reynolds he's born for the role, man. What can you say? His parents named him, or was that his stage name? Who knows these days?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? It's like in the start of Ready Player One, when he talks about he just named that because his father thought it sounded like a superhero name.
Yeah. Wade somebody.
Wade Watts.
Wade Watts. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Wade Watts.
Now I'm going to have to watch that one again too, you reminded me.
Ryan Rodney Reynolds, born October 23rd, 1970. So, just in case Ryan Reynolds wasn't enough, it's Ryan Rodney Reynolds.
No wonder Hugh Jackman makes so much fun of him all the time.
I reckon. I don't know about that. Why not?
Google has boosted Australia's piracy crackdown. That's it. No more pirates in Australia. They've finished it. Piracy is dead. We'll just have to pay Netflix for 4 accounts each.
What are they doing with parrots?
Google has come to the party on Australia's piracy crackdown, making it harder to find illegal torrent sites through its search engine. The tech giant has voluntarily agreed Voluntarily agreed
under duress, yeah.
Yeah, they rang up the government and said, you guys, you just don't want those torrents, do you? And they're like, no. I said, oh, all right, we'll just stop it. We'll block it. Well, we won't let them find it. There's it. No more torrents on the internet for Australia. It's all gone. Nobody knows what a VPN is there, right?
I was going to say, pity Oprah doesn't come standard with a VPN that you can use.
Right. Google reached a voluntary agreement with Australian ISPs and contents rights holders to de-index sites that have been blocked by internet providers under recent laws. The move will mean Australia right holders won't have to take Google to court to force the company to remove offending sites from search results. In 2015, the federal government passed legislation paving the way for court-ordered blocking of website hosting material in breach of copyright. By 2018, the federal court had ordered 65 piracy sites to be blocked and more than 378 related domains. Laws have since been bolstered to allow for the speedy blocking of affiliate or mirror domains that pop up online, allow users to download pirated material. Last year's boost to the laws also provided rights holders to the ability to get an injunction against a search engine. Google confirmed its latest cooperation. There's a lot of air quotes in this, isn't there? With local service providers came after changes to the site blocking laws in Australia extended their operation to search engines. Google supports effective industry-led measures to fight piracy, a company spokesman said while slightly giggling to himself. Mr. Burke said there had so far been 832 sites blocked by Google thanks to your collaboration. That's it. They're gone. Nobody can make more than 832 sites. There's no such thing as DNS or IP addresses or...
I was going to say, are they blocking... I wonder how they're blocking it. Are they blocking just the actual site name?
If you do a search, it'll probably come up with like the DCMA takedowns. This site has been blocked in your country.
Yeah,
please, this search has been blocked in your country. This search has been sponsored by NordVPN, CyberGhost VPN.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
Private, what's the other one? Private Internet Access. That's another one, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what you want to do. If you want to go for keywords, VPN providers. Find keywords that a search comes up with. This site has been blocked in your country due to government rules. Just keyword on all of those and put VPN ads all over the place with Google search engine accidentally.
Yeah. I am kind of wondering, because I use Nord, like I pay for Nord, but 95% of the time I find myself just using, I guess, when I'm using torrents I use Nord, but just for browsing I just use Opera and the free VPN it comes with.
Yeah. Yeah.
with DuckDuckGo for the search engine.
Yeah.
And that
They do
does
good enough.
like 99% of the stuff I wanted to do. I guess, yeah, if you're not browsing, if you're doing something other than browsing, you need a dedicated VPN, I suppose. But if everything you're performing through the browser, the built-in Opera one is fine. It's fast. It's does everything.
And why pay if you don't need to?
Yeah. I've only recently I've known about it for a while, but I've recently only started using it just because it was on this laptop and I didn't have Nord installed.
Yep.
And if you really want a little bit of extra privacy, use a Tor browser.
Yep. I've been using CyberGhost for the last several months. It's okay. I mean, one thing I hate is Minecraft authentication servers block the use. If you use VPN, they won't let you log on to Minecraft, so you can't play it. So you have to shut down. That's why I would stick it on the router.
Yeah.
Except if I want to play Minecraft, I have to disable it, then connect.
No, you can.
This one doesn't have any exceptions in it or anything. It's a very, very basic user interface, which is very annoying, which I found out after it exists. But you should be able to have, if Minecraft.exe is running, then route the packets that way, and everything else go this way.
You can do that with Nord. You can set up, say, Facebook, Google, Minecraft. You can set exceptions where it automatically bypasses the firewall.
That's handy.
Yeah.
But weren't they hacked? I mean, hacked.
Oh yeah, they got
recently
massively hacked. Their server got compromised, and all sorts of encrypted data wasn't discovered.
It just wasn't there to discover.
They literally they hacked the server, and then they found that all the traffic was encrypted, and they couldn't do anything with it. I mean, it was a very anticlimactic hack. Well, you imagine being that happy. Hey, I just hacked into NordVPN. Don't worry, guys. It's okay. My mistake. I didn't really.
It wasn't that good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, look. Let's be honest. Pirate Bay is still one of the largest torrenting websites where you go to find information.
Yep.
They still haven't figured out that there's 14 different websites that will forward you to Pirate Bay that work perfectly the same as if you went to Pirate Bay. So,
did you know that Google is the only search engine in the world because they've blocked torrent, so that means nobody can find it. Bing doesn't exist. DuckDuckGo might stop it. I don't know. Probably not.
DuckDuckGo don't care.
Other search engines, I'm sure, must be somewhere who people use something else.
I mean, there are still, Ask Jeeves and Dogpile and Web Wombat, and there's still a few other ones kicking around, but their actual database isn't that big. Realistically, Bing. But having said that, even Yahoo and Bing combined don't serve as many sites as Google.
So did you hear that, Dogpile? If you want to get really popular, start indexing the frick out of those torrent sites.
Yeah.
People gonna drop Google like a lead balloon.
That's it. I mean, DuckDuckGo does. You can access all the sites on there, and I mean, I don't have a problem. And DuckDuckGo don't do cookie tracking or anything like that.
Aussie Tech Heads does not recommend using DuckDuckGo to circumvent Australian government law restrictions on torrents. Didn't it sound authentic? No.
For the first 3 seconds.
You can't keep a straight face with that shit, can you?
But I mean, and this is the thing, actually one thing that does annoy me about DuckDuckGo is because they don't track cookies at all, when you go to their website and you set up their preferences, and then you close your browser and you come back the next day, you go to their website and you set up their preferences.
Says, who the hell are you?
So that is a little bit annoying when you have to set some of your parameters every time you go there.
You need to have it so you can download a text file that's got all your preferences. The next time you go there, click upload preferences.
Well, no, what they need is to store one cookie on your computer that holds the preferences.
And that's it.
That's it. Those are the other ones.
So you do like cookies? Are you the cookie monster? I thought you looked a bit familiar there. You love eating cookies, don't you?
I have no issues with cookies as long as they're correctly prepared and they're tasty.
Oreo?
If they're bad cookies full of garbage, I won't touch them.
I think that's a great way for everyone to live.
Only healthy cookies, people. Small, short, to the point cookies.
Don't eat the whole box just because they're smaller and means that they go down faster, so you don't gain weight as fast. Is that how it works?
Yeah, if you eat more smaller ones, it's better than eating less bigger ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if the equivalent is exactly the same quantity.
Or usually more. It's like dried apricots. Don't eat 47 apricots, but sit down to a packet of 47 dried apricots and it's perfectly fine.
You're fine. Yeah, it reminds me of a Garfield comic I saw one time where he ate a box of diet chocolates. He said, another 6 boxes of those and I'm going to be skinny as a rake.
That's it, yeah, exactly. Lose weight now, ask me how.
That's right. This one trick that doctors really hate. Subscribe now and send us all your money.
Speaking of which, he's got a sequel to Passion of the Cross in development. Apparently it's even going to be more intense. So, speaking of internet and things that make our life easier, Bevan Slattery.
Who?
South Korea? No?
Yeah! What?
And a massive new firm called Sub.co. He's only responsible for laying the fastest ever undersea cable that we're about to have.
Oh.
No? Not familiar at all? No?
Can that mean we can get gigabit NBN now?
Bevan Slattery is building a new Oman to Australia subsea cable. Now, Oman is obviously got UAE, United Arab Emirates, and Abu Dhabi, which everyone knows, and Dubai. It sort of goes up around then comes back into like a dip around on the west side. So basically, we're going to go from Perth straight up to the western side of UAE to bypass everything else.
Yep.
It's not gonna fork off anywhere. It's because we've already got sort of Indonesia side covered. There's like 12 cables or something going that way.
Yep.
There's nothing going. Basically heading up in the northeast. There's nothing heading that way. So they're putting a big cable undersea there. It's they call him a telecommunications entrepreneur because apparently that's different to another entrepreneur. I don't know. But it'll go from Muscat in Ormond to Perth, part of the new Great Southern Route.
I like a Great Southern Route.
Right, especially with a nice big thick cable. Once completed, it'll go directly from continental Australia, providing the first secure, diverse, low latency route between the continents. It won't pass through Sudan Strait or South China Sea. It'll avoid many of the big issues experienced by other cables in those areas. It's basically going to go underneath a busy shipping lane, so it's going to have constant. The ones that go under the Southern Australia, the Great Southern Sea are busy shipping lanes. So if some containers fall off a ship or something goes pear-shaped, they quite easily damage the cable. So bypassing all that, the new one that's going in is a 3 fibre pair design with an option to upgrade to 4 fibre pairs based on the final manufacturer go that way. It's about 97,000 Ks. Should be completed by December 2021. It's going to I did mention somewhere here the data flow. I'm on a different story I was reading. But this one cable apparently is basically equivalent to the dozen cables or whatever it is we've got now.
Right.
And basically most of the cables that are undersea now are copper. I think there's only one optic one that's only like a single line or something. So, I mean, this cable's like 4 foot round or something.
Multicore.
Yeah, some ridiculous amount of data. I can't remember where I was reading how much data, but this one core of this cable basically transmits all the data that we're currently transmitting through all the other ones.
Oh, right.
And this has got like 4 cores. So, hopefully shouldn't have any problems keeping up with the data for another couple of years.
Sweet. until Netflix starts streaming 8K.
Yeah. Was I reading the other day that some of the new movie cameras are 16? They go it's 16K, I think. They're going from 4K to 16K.
Oh, okay, do a jump.
Well, you do because it's 4 times 4. Because it's 4 and 4 directions.
Yep.
So 4 times 4, so 16K is the new.
Same as they did with 1080p to 4K.
Yeah, that's that's your next logical step. You don't double it. You times by 4. You've got in 4 dimensions or 4 directions.
Wasn't that a band in the 1970s? No, that was fifth
4
dimension.
dimensions. 4th direction. Wait, wonder.
It's in the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius.
I love that one. Well, have you? Yeah, anyway, so.
Gmail! Those bastards at Gmail hooked us on free storage, and now Google is making you pay, son. Just watch it. Google lured billions of consumers to its digital services by offering copious free cloud storage. That's beginning to change. Copious, son!
Copious.
It's a big word.
You've got copious storage, don't you?
Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about that, by jingoes. The Alphabet Incorporated unit has whittled down some free storage offers in recent months while prodding more users toward a new paid cloud subscription called Google One. Yeah. Didn't Xbox, Microsoft went with one for everything, and now they got OneDrive, and the Xbox One, and now they got the Google One, because one is like the best.
The next best number, apparently.
One is the loneliest number that you... That's happening as the amount of data people stash online continues to store. When people hit those caps, they realise they have little choice but to start paying or risk losing access to it. It's like, if you don't pay, we're going to hold you a Gmail hostage. We'll send the boys around with basketball bats and we'll do your kneecaps in. Start paying or risk losing email access, photos and personal document access as well. The cost isn't excessive for most consumers, but the scale Google operates, this could generate billions, son, of dollars in extra revenue each year for the company. Google didn't respond to an email seeking comment. A big driver of the shift is Gmail, word G, whatever you are, West. Google shook up the email business when Gmail launched in 2004 and was in beta for about 50 years. With much more...
Well, it's still in. You can still check the option to show the beta logo.
Yeah. With much more free storage than rivals were providing at the time. It boosted the storage cap every couple of years, but in 2013 it stopped. People's inboxes kept filling up, and now that some of Google's other free storage offers are shrinking, consumers are beginning to get nasty surprises. I was merrily using the account, and one day I noticed I hadn't received any email since the day before, said Rod Adams, a nuclear energy analyst and retired naval officer who obviously should have known better if he could... What?
Yeah,
Are you serious? He's got those credentials. My email stopped working, I didn't know what was going on. That's a bit weird. I thought it was a bit weird. I've been using Gmail since 2006. He finally hit his 15 gig cap. And what kind of videos is he sending? So I don't really want to know.
Seriously.
And Google had cut him off. Snip! Switching away from Gmail wasn't an easy option because many of his social and business contacts reach him that way, and he didn't know how to forward email to another address because he's only a new... This story is starting to annoy me.
You're the one who chose it.
I can understand Joe's random guy Smith down the road, but this is the guy's like, I'm a nuclear energy analyst and retired naval officer. My email didn't work and I couldn't do nothing. I just said, okay, been free for a long time and now I'm paying. That's what Google is hoping you'll say if you don't know how to... Anyway, other Gmail users aren't so happy about the changes. I'm unreasonably sad. I love this story. I'm unreasonably sad about using almost all my free Google storage. That felt infinite. Please don't make me pay. I need you. Gmail, Google Docs. One person tweeted in September. It's like those TV stories on the news now. It's been happening a few years now, and they're like, random person on Twitter said the following, and this is now a news highlight. And you're like, really? This is why society's going downhill, man, because you run out of stories about the panda who can't get a mate anymore, and then all of a sudden you're like, random Twitter person, let's put him on the news, because he's obviously got lots of very interesting things to say. No, he bloody doesn't.
I just checked my Gmail.
Yep.
And from what I can tell, I've been with Gmail since early beta. I actually paid for a Gmail account back in, when was the launch of XP? 2001?
Yep.
I paid for a Gmail beta account at a Google seminar.
Ah.
So 2001, 2002, it was just after that. It was just after the XP launch.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that? 16 years. And I have used 7.3 gig out of my 15.
I have used
Now that's across the board. That's including all my Google Docs, my photos.
9.2 gigs of my 100 gig used so far.
You got 100 gig. Oh, yeah.
Ah, I got the Google one already, son.
Yeah.
They gave me a introduction into Google One because I'm a cool dude and stuff. They said, oh, if you click this link, we'll give you Google One for a year, but then we're going to charge you, son. But I've used 9 gig. There's so much crap in there that I can delete.
I was going to say, I had the offer for the 1 year thing, but I didn't bother. It's like the Dropbox extension. I don't bother, so I don't use it enough.
Did you get that mistake email they sent out last week?
Yeah.
Oh, you've used up all your Dropbox. You better delete some shit or give us money. And then a day later, yeah, can you just please ignore that? We didn't actually. There was email thingy error. Watch it, and we shouldn't have sent it.
I figured it was actually the spam because I don't use Dropbox. But the thing is, like, you know, I've still got so much stuff left, but at work is different. We actually pay for the commercial version of Google because we do use the storage. But it's like, what, 100 gig is $20 a year or something. You know, like, it's something.
And you can write that off with work.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, for work, that's fine. I don't mind paying it. But here's the only issue I have with this is...
Hang on, we've got to switch to wheel cam. Go.
No, it's not that much of an issue.
Time for a rant. I'll have a break. Call me when it's finished.
If you've ever read Googleplex, which is a book based on how Google started, how they become, how they develop, what programs, you know, how things work, there's a particular part in that where they're talking about developing Gmail, and they were using it in-house long before they released it.
Yeah.
And when it was initially being developed, there was no spam button and there was no delete button. They wanted you to categorize everything, and they wanted you to
labels.
Never have to delete an email ever.
Yeah.
And that was actually their catch cry of Gmail. You never have to delete an email.
Yeah.
They ended up giving you having a delete and a spam because in the real world you get that. But now, what are we, 15 years later from public launch, and they're saying, well, no, actually, you know, that's not quite true. You do have to delete stuff.
Wait, I have to stop you there. You don't have to delete your email. You just won't be able to get any more.
Yeah,
that's the catch.
We're not going back on our word. You don't need to delete it. You just need to get money.
Or you just don't get new ones. So you get to keep the ones you already got. Problem solved.
The only real issue I have with it is the fact that they came out and said that nobody should ever have to delete emails, and here we are, you know, 15. I mean, okay, it's 15 years later, and business plans do change somewhat over 15 years, you know. But I just found that interesting. You know, I get from a commercial standpoint, yes, commercially, I don't have an issue with you paying X amount for commercial, you know, over usage and whatever, that's fine. But for private emails, and you can't tell me they don't know the difference because they've never read an email ever that you've received. But anyway, speaking of Google, Google quantum computer leaves old school computers in the dust. Well, in this case, leaves old school computers in Google storage data centers because that's what they use. Google quantum computer has far outpaced ordinary computing, which is lucky, really, because that's kind of what the emphasis has been.
Isn't that the point?
They got a new achievement. Achievement unlocked.
Ding!
Supremacy. You know, what they find diamonds or something. It's an important milestone for revolutionary way processing data. Google's disclosed the results of General Nature on Wednesday. The achievement came after more than a decade of work on Google, including use of its own quantum computing chip called Sycamore. The machine performed the target computation in 200 seconds. Form of measurement in our experience were determined it would take the world's fastest supercomputer 10,000 years to produce a similar effort. So basically they cracked probably a 128-bit encryption or something like that. The news, which leaked into the limelight in September, the Premier offers evidence quantum computers could break the research labs and head towards mainstream computing. They could perform important work like creating new materials, designing new drugs, at the molecular level, optimizing financial investments, speeding delivery, blah, 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 blah. Google got a pick at speed test. One of the researchers dismissed criticisms that the result was a narrow victory. They compared it to Sputnik. Sputnik didn't do much either. It just circled the Earth. You had to start on space race.
That's nothing, Governor.
So, but they're saying it's not really the end for traditional computers because this article gets really complicated. Basically, they're saying the way a quantum computer works is the data is transmitted from one end to the other without any form of interaction. As soon as you interact with it, it's no longer quantum physics no longer apply.
Yep.
So basically, what they're saying is that a standard computer transmits the data to the quantum computer that does the processing. It transmits it back to the standard computer. That's basically the way it's going to work. So it's not going to ever outdo or replace standard computers. It's just going to work alongside them.
And they mostly have to run at near zero temperature. Super cooled.
Yeah.
Super cooled.
Yeah, 0 Kelvin, which is minus 300 degrees or something.
And just remember, everybody, you know how Google has got that storage of everybody's stuff, the government, copying down all your current encrypted stuff that they can't break now.
Ironically, yeah, the government has it all, yeah.
But in the future, when these quantum computers come out, probably in about 15 years, they reckon now, they're going to be able to crack any of the current encryption like a few seconds, a couple of minutes at the most. Yeah. So if you're doing any naughty things right now,
you got a good 10 years.
Yeah. Make sure you're not around or you've gone to Mars or something in about 10-15 years because it's all going to be easily cracked open.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that was always going to happen. But,
and imagine how fast Crisis is going to run.
Well, I was going to say, you can almost get like Skype to run at 30 frames.
Whoa! Not in Australia, son. We won't have the speed of the internet by then. That's 15 years. We might have, 200 megabits per second by then. Yeah. Wouldn't that be awesome?
The other point I was going to bring out, that the quantum computer really is only a useful resource in something like a server bank where you have the data on hand, because it can't physically transmit data that fast that the supercomputer can do. It needs all the data it has before it does its algorithms.
Yep.
You know, so you can't transmit data in and out that fast. So, okay, yes, it might be able to crack an encryption code, but technically it can only do one at a time, because it can only load one program to do that program and have the data it needs for that program before it can load the next program.
And your ping time's still going to be stuff, so that won't help.
Yeah, I know. Imagine dialing into that thing.
You won't be ganking them noobs that fast.
Yeah, using remote access assist or something like that, and log me in and I just got to change the parameters of this equation for the quantum computer. So the mouse just no stop. Just go across 2 pixels. No, not across.
You know what would be great though?
Low quality. Turn the backdrop off.
Every IT company is going to want to have a quantum computer for those bastards who are like a manager and they bring their computer down. Computer stuff, you got to fix it. What's your password? Dunno. I'm not telling you nothing. And then they piss off to the pub for 4 hours and you're like, I want my computer going. When you get back, you're like, well, I have to use his login because it's all his crew. Hang on. Quantum computer, what's his password? Fred12347 exclamation mark. Thank you. Okay, logged in. Fixed. No worries, son.
Realistically, if you wanted something to sort of compare it to, think of either Data in Star Trek, or I've got a complete blank, but the one out of the Orville. Now, effectively, they ran at quantum speeds and they were able to do complex calculations in fractions of a second.
Yep.
But to be the AI, the artificial intelligence, or the augmented intelligence, or whatever it is they want to call it, they needed to have effectively a nervous system which fires neurons at the speed of sound, and so the quantum computing allowed that to happen. So from a practical standpoint, that's the sort of use case as a standalone quantum computer would be.
Yeah, if you're a cyborg, you're going to need it.
Yeah. That's basically what a quantum computer would end up being.
Yeah, that'll be me in the future. Just a brain in a jar connected to cyborg.
That'll be like Futurama.
Yeah, hanging like a filter fish jar.
Hanging out with all the explosions.
Wave audio files are now being used to hide malicious code. Dun dun dun! 2 reports published in the last few months show that malware operators are experimenting with using wave audio files to hide malicious code. Technique is known as stenography, the art of hiding information in plain sight in other data medium. In the software field, stenography, also referred to as stego, that's for you cool people, stego, is, oh, isn't that a type of chicken? Hang on. Is used to... Chickens came from dinosaurs, man. It's all there. Dinosaurs had feathers. Is used to describe the process of hiding files or text in another file of a different format. For example, hiding plain text inside an image's binary format. Using stenography has been popular with malware operators for more than a decade. Malware authors don't use stenography to breach or infect systems, but rather as a transfer method. Stenography allows files hiding malicious code to bypass security software that whitelists non-executable file formats such as multimedia files. All previous instances where malware used stenography revolved around using image file formats such as PNG or... This has got JPEG spelled JEPG and it's annoying me because it's not... No, JEPG. Not JPEG. This is J... That's... There was never a JPEG. It was pronounced... It's pronounced Gepig, I'll have you know, because the J is a hard G.
It's the Chinese point.
The novelty in the 2 recently published reports is that the use of wave audio files not seen abused in malware operations until this year. The first of these 2 new malware campaigns abusing wave files were reported back in June. Symantec security researchers said they spotted a Russian cyber espionage group known as Waterbug. So the Russians! We need to get here before the Russians do.
Because the Russians discovered wave files apparently.
Welcome to 1997.
Alright.
To using wave files to hide and transfer malicious code from their server to already infected victims. A second malware campaign was spotted this month by BlackBerry Silence. What a cool name, man. It's like spelled the same way like Cylon, C-Y-L-A-N-C-A. BlackBerry Silence. Shh. In a recent report published and shared with ZDNet last week, Silence said it saw something similar to what Symantec saw a few months before. We saw it first! It was us! No, you didn't get it first, that was us, hey? We got proof, my mate.
Seashells, what?
By Thor. But while thematic report described nation-state cyber espionage operation, Silence said they saw the wave stenography technique being abused in a run-of-the-mill crypto mining malware operation. Silent said this particular threat actor was hiding DLLs inside WAV audio files. Malware already present on the infected host would download and read WAV file, extract the DLL bit by bit, and then run it, installing a cryptocurrency miner application named XMRig. Josh Lemos of VP of Research and Intelligence of BlackBerry Silence said in an email this malware strain using WAV's stenography was spotted on both Windows desktop and server instances.
Yeah, I mean, that's not new.
No. I remember back in the day we used to have fun with that. In fact, they did that sort of thing with, you watch the TV show Archer.
Yeah.
And on one episode, somebody framed the show, and behind Krieger was some just a picture of one of the crew members and some characters in hex code. So they decrypted that and found out that it was a bit.ly link. So they go to the bit.ly link, which led them to a website where you log in with the username password guest, which is a running joke in the show. And that led you to another thing, that led you to another thing, and there was this whole huge nest of all these different things crisscrossing and spiderweb of stuff, YouTube videos and all this. And there was one where you had to download the audio, then you run it through a spectrum analyzer to get the information for the next link, stuff like that. So that's kind of like stenography, where they're hiding information in another format.
I mean, even Duke 3D, they had Easter eggs in Duke 3D that would take you to websites and stuff, and this is back at the start of the internet.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, back in World War II, or probably even World War One, really. But while they were inventing, Colossus, which was the first mechanical password breaking effectively computer, run off vacuum mods and stuff like that, and then you had the Germans were using the Enigma machine, and they were cracking the codes for Enigma machine. But you had the engineers talking between bases. And what they would do to make sure the line was secure was they would have two records, one on each end, with two perfectly matched record players. And they'd play these records at the same time. And one put out positive noise at one frequency, and one put out negative noise or white noise at the other frequency. And they'd counteract each other down the phone line. So they had a bit of interference, but these two engineers could talk to each other. But anybody who was listening in from one side or the other without the other record present would only hear the noise coming from the record player.
Kind of like out of phase of each other.
Yeah, so they were transmitting noise within noise.
Yep.
So it's not a new thing. And neither are WAV files, oddly. WAV file? Like, seriously? Why?
Stick it in an OGG file, son.
I mean,
FLAC is lossless. That would be perfect.
Excuse me, what is QuickTime while you're at it? I mean, come on, MP3. Everybody plays MP3s and nobody thinks twice about clicking on it. If I saw something that had a WAV file, and I'd be like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, why is there a WAV file on my computer now?
Why WAV file? I haven't had one of those in 15 years. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. I guess it's the same reason. Well, no. See, they do it with JPEGs too, but JPEGs are a compressed image, not a raw file. So why not MP3? Why WAV? I mean, I know I know why now I think about it. So I bet you the frequency range that they're using outside of normal speaker and outside of normal human range. So
MP3 would cut it off.
Whereas the WAV file, you could have it up above the 100,000 hertz where it would only be heard digitally.
Yeah.
That makes sense now.
It's like those air gap hackers where they play something through the speaker in your computer, but you can't hear it, and other computers outside, and they pick up the audio and they can record your keystrokes and log in and everything.
I like the one where they can do that for the wall now.
Yeah.
They have a camera that can read. I don't know if it works on LCDs, but it worked on CRTs.
Yep.
The camera could read the radiation coming off the screen through a wall. So even if you're sitting in front of your monitor and a wall behind you, they could be on the other side of the wall and point this camera at you, and they could read what was on your screen.
Yeah, or even if they have a microphone that's pointed towards your keyboard, they can tell what keys you're pressing. depending on
Yeah,
the pressure of your fingers,
Maybe
especially if
I'll
you're like a
hide
touch
the
typist. Those clicky ones.
Maybe.
Everyone loves them. Developers and programmers, man, got to have the clickety clack.
I actually saw the other day. There's a guy in, I think he's in Melbourne or in Sydney. He's actually getting old typewriters from op shops and he's turning them into keyboards for computers
Steampunk.
and tablets and stuff. So where the keys flip and where the paper would normally sit,
Yeah.
he puts a holder there for a tablet and then turns the actual laptop into a Bluetooth keyboard.
But the keys with the hammers would smash the screen, surely.
No, just above that. Yeah, it's still. Apparently, it actually types. Like you can still type with it as a typewriter.
Yeah.
So the paper folds, rolls around, and goes behind the display. So you can actually literally do a hard copy while typing it up if you want to.
Ah, man, you don't need a printer anymore.
No, you can email your assignment and do a hard copy at the same time.
Well, I've got one more story and we're just about out of time, so I'll go with that and we'll see if you've got anything after that. This is one you might like, though. You probably read this. Samaritan uses genius bank... This one trick that banks hate. Samaritan uses genius bank trick to reunite a man with his lost wallet. A man has used clever method to communicate with someone after he found their wallet and bank card but didn't have a way to get in touch. The cyclist was reunited with his wallet after a genius Good Samaritan paid into his bank account multiple times. It's like 1 cent transactions, each with a snippet of the message. Tim Cameron, 30, had feared the worst after losing his wallet containing a bank card but no contact details. The wallet had fallen from his pocket as he rode his bike to his North London home. But Simon Byford, who found Mr. Cameron's wallet, figured out an ingenious way to get in contact with him. He made 4 online deposits of 19 cents or 1p each into Tim's account and used the 18-character reference box to communicate with him. His first deposit, he wrote, "Hi, I found your," and the second, "wallet on the road." The third contained Simon's number and the last one urged him to text or call. Then he was reunited with his wallet and gave the guy a bottle of wine as a reward for returning it. But like such an ingenious story, you log onto your bank account. I just got to make sure nobody's been spending my... Oh wait, hey, you found my wallet. Please call 555-38264.
It seems like such a convoluted way to go to the bank and go, "Hey, here's this guy's wallet. Can you give him a call?"
It's got his card in there, so they know his address and phone number and everything, right? But it's such a geeky way of doing things.
It's ingenious, I'll give him that, but it's not. It's not.
It's not efficient, is what you're saying. It's not efficient at all.
It's not a lot of things. Efficient's one of them.
I hope he checks his statement sometime in the next couple of years, because a lot of people don't log on or read their statements. So if it comes in the mail, you're like, rip, chuck it in the recycle bin.
Well,
Who cares?
I don't even get one. Like mine, ING send me an email saying your statement's ready. If you want to download it, click this link. So I don't even get one.
And just read a PDF if you really want to.
Yeah. No.
That's the way to do it, son.
Yeah. There's
I like it.
If there's a convoluted way of doing it, people don't want to find it.
It takes a genius to do things a long way around.
I was reading.
I wonder if he was a nuclear analyst and also worked for the Navy. His Gmail account had run out, so he couldn't contact him anyway. He had to use the bank. Hey, can we use our bank accounts now to store our Gmail messages? There must be some way of encoding them to store them in the messages on the bank statements, right?
Well, either way, you're paying for it, I suppose.
You don't want forwards from grandma that are like passages and patches of some racist joke that she's found online somewhere, and you're like reading it 18 characters at a time through 200 pages of your PDF. Have you got anything sane to say before we finish up?
I've never got anything the same to say. One thing I was just reading, I won't bother the whole article, it's pretty much crap because it's NBN, but they're saying they've managed to take 133,000 houses off satellite and put fibre to the node. So what it meant to people who are on satellite is their satellite is speed and whatever is slowly increasing. So, you know, it might be good for people like my sister who have like a 30-second ping time round trip. So when you try to talk to them on the phone, you're like, hello.
Surely you mean 30 milliseconds?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. 30-second round trip.
Ah, man.
It's horrid. And it's very hard to browse the web because a lot of websites don't allow that sort of ping time. They just refuse to let you on.
Yeah. Website timed out. Please try again later.
Yeah. The speed's actually not horrid. The speed's, I don't know, 20 meg down, 10 meg up or something. Which
It's just waiting for a response.
But, yeah, literally, it varies between a 10 and a 30-second ping time. Depending on where you're going. And
I ain't gonna gank some noobs in Fortnite with that kind of setup.
The actual phone is about 30 seconds. It's actually worse data lag than it's worse lag than the data.
They should have. There's no quality of service they could turn on to prioritise the phone.
They're on the provider they're with won't switch them over to what's the Sky Muster.
Oh,
So
right.
they're still on the old satellite.
No wonder.
Yeah, because obviously they don't want your Sky Muster costs them a bit more to be on.
Yep.
So they're obviously trying to keep them on this old satellite longer.
That's all Australia. Keep them on the old technology, son.
That's it.
We know it's worked ever since I was a young knee-high to a grasshopper. So if it worked for me when I had to walk uphill both ways to school, then you can do it too with your tin cans.
Germany made a good recovery given that at the end of the war they had the option, basically because they had no infrastructure, they were starting again. And they were advised to go fibre optic. Some about copper's old, go fibre optic. This is back at the war.
No weather problems.
And the brother of the head of infrastructure or whatever ran the copper mine. So they went, no, we're going to go with copper. It's tried and tested and trusted. And so they re-ran their entire infrastructure as copper because, like, his brother ran this copper mine. So yeah, you know.
His brother's name wasn't Clive Palmer, was it? He reckons he's going to start a new mine that's 4 times bigger than the Adani one that's just started.
Yeah, just so he can sell his resources to China.
Just so he can not pay those workers as well.
Yeah, I know. That's
and have the Australian taxpayers pay off his workers, like happened last time with his nickel mine.
George Colin Barris might as well open up a restaurant. Or
Those two should join up together, man. They're serious. They're genius. Many people have said so. They got big brains and stomachs. Wait, who said that? Thanks for listening to the Aussie Tech Head Show with a couple of crazy loonies, broadcast weekly. We can be found at facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, twitter.com/Aussie Tech Heads, and youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Email us Glenn Wheel and Warlock at aussietechheads.com.au. You can hear Aussie Tech Heads on Aussie Tech Radio, aussietechradio.com. 24/7 back-to-back play of some of the best, probably better than this show, tech-related shows from around Australia and New Zealand. It couldn't be worse. New shows added every Friday. We'll see you again next time Glenn needs another hangover cure.
That's it.
See you all later.